Have you ever caught your reflection from the side and felt a quiet surprise? Not shock, not alarm, just a subtle awareness that something has shifted. Not your mind, not your personality, not your sense of humor or your ability to care. But your structure, the curve that once seemed natural, now appears softer. The lift that once felt automatic now feels reduced. Your jeans hang differently. Your stride feels slightly heavier. And somewhere in the privacy of your own thoughts, a question surfaces. Is this just what happens after 50? It is an honest question, and it deserves more than a casual answer. Because the flattening of the glutes, the subtle weakening of the hips, the sense that the lower body is less powerful than it once was, these are not merely cosmetic shifts. They are biomechanical changes, neurological changes, adaptive responses, 2 years of living in a modern body. But here is what is rarely explained clearly. Aging alone is not the direct cause of weaker glutes. Adaptation is. Your body is always adapting to your habits, your posture, your movement patterns, your level of activity. And if those patterns gradually shift toward sitting more, bracing, less, leaning into one hip while standing, moving in smaller ranges of motion, your nervous system reorganizes around that reality. Muscles that are used less become less dominant. Muscles that compensate become more dominant. The system reshuffles itself, and the glutes, particularly the gluteus medius and gluteus maximus, are often the quiet casualties of that reshuffling. Before we go deeper, I want to say something important. If you are here because you want to understand your body rather than fight it, if you are interested in thoughtful, science-informed strength for people over 50, consider subscribing to this channel. This space is not about extreme workouts or trends that burn out in 6 weeks. It is about sustainable, intelligent movement. And if what you hear today resonates with you, let me know by liking the video and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement shapes what we explore next. Now let us examine what is actually happening inside the body. The glutes are not isolated decorations on the backside. They are powerful, multifunctional muscles that control hip extension, stabilize the pelvis, assist in rotation, and protect the lower back from excessive strain. When they contract efficiently, they distribute force evenly across the hips and spine. When they do not, other tissues absorb that force. The pelvis is central in this story. Think of the pelvis as the mechanical hub between your spine and your legs. If it tilts too far forward, a common pattern known as anterior pelvic tilt, the gluteus maximus is placed in a lengthened, mechanically disadvantaged position. If the pelvis shifts slightly to one side, a subtle lateral asymmetry, the gluteus medius on one side becomes under-recruited. Research published in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy has demonstrated that altered pelvic alignment significantly changes gluteal activation patterns. When alignment shifts, recruitment patterns shift. The nervous system chooses different muscles to perform tasks. It does this efficiently, not maliciously. If the quadriceps can get you up the stairs without requiring much coordination from the hips, the brain will allow them to dominate. If the lower back can help you stand up from a chair when the glutes are slow to fire, the brain reinforces that strategy. Over time, these patterns become automatic. This is why many people over 50 say, "I walk every day." Why are my glutes still flat? Walking is beneficial, but walking at a comfortable pace on level ground does not necessarily demand strong hip extension or lateral pelvic stabilization. It maintains baseline mobility. It does not always rebuild lost strength. And strength is not just about muscle size, it is about neural efficiency. Your nervous system determines which motor units, bundles of muscle fibers, and their nerve supply are recruited during movement. After 50, there is a natural decline in motor unit number. However, the remaining motor units can still hypertrophy and improve coordination with proper stimulus. The key word is proper. Precision matters more now than volume. That brings us to the first essential exercise. Stand a short distance from a wall, facing away from it. Feet hip-width apart, knees soft, spine long. Gently hinge your hips backward until your glutes lightly touch the wall. Pause. Notice what happens inside your body. Do you feel weight evenly distributed between both feet, or does one side take more load? Do your shoulders remain level? Does one hip feel tighter? Now slowly shift your pelvis a few centimeters to the left, not a twist of the torso, not a rotation of the shoulders, a pure lateral shift. You may feel engagement in the outer right hip, the gluteus medius beginning. To activate, return to center, shift to the right. Feel the opposite side awaken. This movement appears simple, almost too simple, but it addresses something foundational: pelvic centering and neuromuscular awareness. Closed chain repositioning exercises like this encourage symmetrical loading. They retrain the nervous system to recognize when one side is underperforming. They promote co-activation between deep stabilizers, including the obliques and the smaller hip rotators, and the larger glute muscles. Over time, this improves what scientists call motor control, the coordinated activation of muscles in the right sequence and intensity. Without motor control, strength exercises reinforce imbalance. With motor control, strength exercises amplify balance. Practice 8 to 10 slow repetitions to sets. Move deliberately. Breathe steadily. If you begin this practice this week, write "rebuilding" in the comments. It may seem like a small act, but it reinforces accountability. And when others see it, they feel encouraged to begin as well. After alignment and awareness are reintroduced, we layer strength. Stand facing a wall. Feet slightly wider than hip width. Toes gently angled outward. Hands resting lightly on the wall. Lower yourself into a squat with control. Keep your chest lifted. Allow your knees to track outward. Pause at a comfortable depth. Now rise onto the balls of your feet. Lift your heels. Hold briefly. Lower them slowly. Press through the entire foot to stand. This wall-facing squat with calf raise integrates multiple systems. Facing the wall encourages an upright torso, preventing excessive forward lean. An upright torso places the glutes in a better mechanical position to extend the hips. The outward tracking of the knees activates the gluteus medius. The calf raise challenges balance and proprioception, your body's sense of joint position. Integrated lower body movements that combine strength and balance have been associated with improved functional stability in older adults, including findings reported in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity. Balance is not merely a reflex. It is a trainable skill. As you rise onto your toes at the bottom of the squat, small stabilizing muscles around the ankle and hip communicate rapidly. The nervous system refines timing. Micro-adjustments occur. This is what protects you when you step off a curb unexpectedly or pivot to change direction. Perform 2 to 3 sets of 10 controlled repetitions. Move slowly enough that you can feel the transition between phases. Descent, pause, heel lift, lowering, ascent. After 50, muscle protein synthesis responds best to consistent, moderate resistance training performed 2 to 3 times per week. Adequate dietary protein supports this process. Sleep supports recovery. Hydration supports connective tissue elasticity. But beyond physiology, there is something deeply psychological about this practice. When you move with intention, you reclaim authorship over your body. The cultural narrative often frames aging as passive, as something that happens to you. But strength training reframes aging as interactive. You are not resisting time. You are collaborating with biology. The flattening of the glutes, the weakening of the hips, these are signals. They are feedback about how your body has adapted. They are not verdicts. And when you provide new input, alignment drills, integrated strength, consistent stimulus, the body responds. It may not respond overnight. It may not respond dramatically in 2 weeks, but it responds. You begin to notice subtle differences. Standing feels more centered. Climbing stairs feels more driven from the hips rather than the knees. Walking feels slightly more buoyant. And perhaps most importantly, you feel engaged. In the process, if you have been feeling disconnected from your body, let me know in the comments. Tell me your age and what changes you have noticed over the past decade. These conversations matter. They remind us that we are not alone in this experience. The glutes, when strong, create what biomechanists call posterior chain dominance, a pattern where force production is shared effectively between hips and legs. When weak, the anterior chain, particularly the quadriceps and hip flexors, tends to dominate. Excessive anterior chain dominance can contribute to knee discomfort, hip tightness, and lower back strain. Restoring posterior chain contribution redistributes